On June 18, 2026, 26-year-old Chetan Agarwal left home for what should have been a romantic birthday outing with his fiancée, Sia Goyal. The destination was Lohagad Fort, around 50 kilometers from Pune. It was not just a tourist spot. It was an old hill fort standing thousands of feet above sea level, surrounded by valleys, wet rocks, narrow paths, and steep drops. During the monsoon, the place became even more dangerous. The soil turned slippery. The stone steps became wet. One wrong movement could change everything. But for Chetan, this was not supposed to be dangerous. It was supposed to be special. Sia had told him that Lohagad Fort meant something to her. She had made it sound emotional, romantic, almost symbolic. And because Chetan trusted her, because he loved her, he agreed to go. As they climbed higher, the fort became quieter. The sound of the city disappeared behind them. The mist moved slowly around the old stone walls. The valley opened beneath them. Soon, they reached the northern side of the fort, near the famous Vinchu Kata Point, a long, scorpion-tail-like extension of the fort, known for its dramatic view and dangerous edges. Chetan stood there, surrounded by nature, looking out over the valley. And then, within seconds, everything changed. According to the police investigation, Chetan did not simply slip. He was allegedly pushed from the cliff, falling hundreds of feet into the gorge below. At first, it looked like a tragic trekking accident. A young man, a rainy day, a slippery fort, a sudden fall. But the real horror of this case was not only that Chetan lost his life. The horror was who was accused of being behind it. Police later alleged that the person involved in his death was not a stranger, not a robber, not an enemy from the outside. It was his own fiancée, the woman he was preparing to marry. And even more disturbing, investigators later claimed this was not the first time someone had tried to get him killed at Lohagad Fort. Chetan Agarwal came from a wealthy and respected business family in Maharashtra. His father, Vishal Agarwal, was connected to a well-known real estate business, and Chetan was the family's only son. But people who knew Chetan did not describe him only as rich. They described him as warm, respectful, obedient, and family-oriented. He was the kind of son who trusted his parents deeply. The kind of young man who believed in family values. The kind of person who had every reason to look forward to his future. After completing his education in India, Chetan went abroad for higher studies. He studied business in the United States and later returned to India to join his family's real estate work. His professional life was beginning. His personal life, too, seemed to be entering a new chapter. His family started looking for a suitable bride. In business families, marriages are often discussed not only between two people, but between two families. Reputation, background, community, and trust matter a lot. The Agarwal family and the Goyal family reportedly knew each other for many years. The Goyals were also from a business background, connected to dry fruits and spices. When the marriage proposal came, there was some hesitation at first. Sia was younger than Chetan. The age gap raised questions. But after repeated conversations between the families, the match was accepted. In February 2026, Chetan and Sia got engaged. For Chetan, this engagement was not just a formality. He accepted Sia as his future wife. He trusted his family's decision and began investing emotionally in the relationship. The wedding was planned for later in 2026. It was supposed to be grand, luxurious, and memorable. Reports said the family had planned an expensive destination wedding, with major arrangements already underway. To everyone outside, this looked like a dream match. But behind the smiles, behind the shopping, dinners, family meetings, and wedding plans, something was wrong. Chetan had started noticing it. Sia was often on her phone. She seemed emotionally distant. Whenever Chetan tried to ask her about it, she would soften the moment, speak sweetly, and pull him back in emotionally. He did not know that the distance he felt had a name. And that name was Chetan Chaudhary. According to police, Sia was already in a relationship with another man, Chetan Chaudhary. Chetan was around 22 years old and also came from a business background. Like Sia's family, his family was connected to the dry fruits and spices trade. Sia and Chetan reportedly met at a business family gathering around Diwali in 2025. What began as a meeting slowly became a relationship. But when Sia's engagement with Ketan was fixed, she did not end that relationship. She also did not openly tell Ketan's family that she did not want the marriage. This is where the case becomes deeply tragic. If Sia did not want to marry Ketan, there were many ways to stop the wedding. She could have spoken to her parents. She could have told Ketan clearly. She could have refused. It might have created family conflict, embarrassment, or pressure, but it would not have cost a life. Instead, according to investigators, Sia and Chetan allegedly began thinking of ways to remove Ketan from the picture while making it appear like an accident. And Lohagad Fort became central to that plan. The fort was dangerous enough to make a fall believable. During the monsoon, slipping was not impossible. If someone fell from a cliff there, many people might first assume it was an accident. That, police believe, was exactly why the location was chosen. On May 31, 2026, Sia and Ketan went to Lohagad Fort. To Ketan, it may have felt like a romantic trek with his fiancée. To Sia, according to police, it was something else, a chance to study the place. The path, the cliffs, the blind spots, the dangerous edges, the areas where fewer people might be watching, all of it could be observed. Ketan had no idea. He walked beside the woman he trusted, while police later alleged that she was already thinking about how his death could be made to look accidental. After that visit, Sia reportedly wanted Ketan to come back again. But the second visit did not happen immediately. Then came another disruption, the Bali trip. Ketan had planned a pre-wedding trip to Bali with Sia. It was supposed to include a photo shoot and romantic memories before the wedding. But before they could travel, his passport went missing. What made the incident suspicious was that the passport was reportedly kept with other important items, but only the passport disappeared. Cash and cards were not taken. According to police, Sia allegedly sabotaged the trip by removing or destroying Ketan's passport so that the Bali plan would collapse and her Lohagad plan could continue. For Ketan's family, it was strange. But at that time, they still trusted Sia. And that trust became the most dangerous thing in Ketan's life. On June 14, 2026, Sia convinced Ketan to return to Lohagad Fort. This time, according to the police version, the intention was no longer just to observe the location. The intention was to act. As they moved along the fort, Sia allegedly took Ketan near a dangerous cliff. She waited for the right moment. Then, according to investigators, she pushed him. But Ketan survived. Before he could fall deep into the gorge, he managed to grab support from a tree or bush. He escaped death by seconds. And when he questioned what had happened, Sia allegedly created a story instantly. She told him that she had seen a snake and had pushed him only to save him. Ketan believed her. That one moment shows how deeply he trusted her. Instead of suspecting her, he accepted the explanation. He may have even felt grateful that she had saved him. But somewhere inside, the incident disturbed him. He told some friends, but he did not immediately alert his family. Maybe he did not want to worry them. Maybe he did not want to believe that the woman he was about to marry could harm him. That silence gave the alleged plan another chance. And Sia had one final emotional card left. Her birthday. Sia's birthday was on June 19. Ketan had planned beautiful surprises for her. He reportedly arranged a decorated car, flowers, gifts, dinner, and emotional moments with friends. Videos showed them together, smiling, dancing, and celebrating. From the outside, nobody could easily see danger. That is what makes this case so haunting. Sometimes betrayal does not look like betrayal in the beginning. Sometimes it looks like romance. It looks like birthday plans. It looks like social media stories. It looks like a couple moving toward marriage. But according to police, behind those smiles, the final plan was already forming. Sia again requested Chetan to take her to Lohagad Fort. She made it emotional. She said it would mean a lot to her to visit that special place before her birthday. Chetan hesitated because of what had happened on June 14. But after repeated persuasion, he agreed. This would be the third visit. And this time, police allege, Sia was not alone. Chetan Chaudhary also reached Lohagad Fort. Investigators later said Chetan tried to avoid detection. He allegedly left his own phone elsewhere and used another phone. He came separately, dressed like a trekker. In the heat, he wore a hoodie that partly covered his face, making him stand out later on CCTV. He did not walk openly with Chetan and Sia. He followed them. Like a shadow. On June 18, Chetan and Sia climbed Lohagad Fort again. Behind them, according to police, Chetan was following carefully, trying not to be noticed by Chetan. CCTV footage later became a key part of the investigation. Police reportedly noticed a hooded man moving suspiciously, trying to stay hidden, yet remaining close enough to the couple. Eventually, Chetan and Sia reached a secluded area near the cliff. This was the final stage of the alleged plan. Police believe a signal was given. Then Chetan was pushed into the gorge. The fall was fatal. Afterward, Chetan allegedly left the area, while Sia began shouting and crying, presenting the death as a terrible accident. Local people and authorities were alerted. Rescue efforts began in difficult weather and dangerous terrain. Chetan's body was eventually recovered and he was taken to hospital, where he was declared dead. At first, police recorded it as an accidental death. That made sense on the surface. A fort. Rain. Slippery ground. A fall. But Chetan's family could not accept it. His father knew his son was an experienced trekker. He could not understand how Chetan would simply fall while taking photos. Then the family learned about the earlier June 14 incident, the strange snake story. The pattern became impossible to ignore. A missing passport. Repeated attempts to take him to the same fort. A previous push explained away as a snake scare. And now, a fatal fall. Chetan's father pushed for a deeper investigation. And once police started looking closely, the accident story began to collapse. Police first examined Sia's phone records. What they found raised serious questions. Reports say Sia and Chetan had exchanged thousands of calls and spent many hours speaking over the months after her engagement to Chetan. That was enough to establish a hidden connection that Chetan's family allegedly did not fully understand. Then investigators checked CCTV footage from the fort and from routes connected to the journey. The man in the hoodie became important. Why would someone wear a hoodie in hot weather? Why was he trailing Chetan and Sia? Why was he trying to hide his face? Why did he appear to be communicating with Sia through gestures? Police then connected the hooded man to Chetan Chaudhary. The phone activity also became suspicious. Chetan's own phone was reportedly not with him in the usual way, suggesting an attempt to avoid digital tracking. To investigators, this did not look like panic. It looked like planning. Sia and Chetan were arrested on June 23, 2026. During interrogation, according to reports, they allegedly gave conflicting statements and blamed each other. Sia reportedly said she did not want to marry Chetan. She allegedly claimed that Chetan would not leave her even after she told him about Chetan. Chetan's side, meanwhile, denied or minimized involvement. But police said the evidence pointed toward a conspiracy. The emotional weight of this case sits heavily on the families. For Chetan's family, this was not just the death of a son. It was the destruction of a future they had been preparing with joy. They had planned a wedding. They had welcomed Sia. They had trusted her. Then, within days, they were mourning the same son whose wedding they had been arranging. Chetan's father publicly questioned why Sia did not simply refuse the marriage. If she loved someone else, why not say no? Why allow the families to move forward? Why let Chetan dream of a future that she allegedly never wanted? Sia's parents also gave emotional and sometimes conflicting public statements. At points, they said that if Sia was guilty, she should be punished. At other points, her mother suggested Sia may not have wanted to go to the fort and that Chetan had persuaded her. This is why it is important to say clearly, the court has not yet delivered a final verdict. Police have made arrests. Investigators have presented allegations. Families have made claims. But legally, the final judgment still belongs to the court.